Always Irish show. Always Irish show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison! I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing! Doing a damn thing! The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks. It is indeed the start of another Irish week. Little recruiting news you don't love. But there's many reasons even I'm not going to flip out about it. If it seems unnatural for somebody like me, given the way I do this show. Little bit of bad recruiting news, not ideal recruiting news. However, there's a lot of reasons that make that situation a little different than when it may have happened before. So I feel like, there's some nuance there I want to get into. And then I have a bigger picture question. This is something I've been wanting to go over kind of since the new year. And every time I line it up on this show, the calls or the chat kind of take it somewhere else or whatever. So I want to make sure, we're again in the middle of the low period here, kind of in between. And so we'll see if I can get into some of those bullet points, see if you guys agree with them. We got a couple calls early, 618. You're going to be the first one. Let me do some introductions. There's a couple chats I want to get over. Also, I want to let everybody know the plans are coming together for Blue and Gold Tailgate. So hopefully we get some better weather, but we're going to blow this thing up. However big it was last spring, we're going to blow it up and we're going to do it bigger and better. Okay. So we have a lot of added features and some added people. So I'm already excited to start thinking about that. It's like the light at the end of the winter tunnel. And then after Blue and Gold, I get depressed because then after Blue and Gold, when I drive home, I'm so depressed. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a long summer. It's going to be a long grind through the dog days of the content desert until we get to August and everybody wakes up. May, June, July, I'm like hitting the microphone going, is this thing on? And everybody's just in summer mode. And then the calendar turns to August and everybody comes back and it's cranked to 100. Oh man, it's a beautiful thing. Andrew, I don't know why, but this made me laugh. I'm scrolling through Twitter and it's just nothing. The same old garbage. And then I see one tweet and it just says, Brian Kelly letting an eagle out into the wild. It's like, I'm telling you this. If I was at Eagle, I wouldn't have trusted I was getting released if it was with that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't trust that guy as far as I could fly around him. I would have thought I was being set up for a trap or something. It just looked funny because everything Kelly does looks phony to me. Everything he does, I'm looking for the angle that Kelly's working to make himself look better. You think Kelly's just releasing eagles into the wild on his own accord? He figured there's got to be an angle here somewhere. Call! Eagle man. I'm sorry. It's just everything the guy does is funny to me because his personality's so bizarre. Even him releasing this eagle into the wild. It shouldn't be that funny. And when I saw the tweet, I subtweeted it or whatever the thing is where you do the tweet on top of the tweet. And I just said, I'm laughing at this and there's no reason why. There's no reason why. It wasn't even supposed to be funny. It's just Kelly doing anything is funny because nothing he does I look at as being genuine. There's always an angle. And I'm just wondering, like, I don't know how many Eagles he's going to save and get the Medal of Honor. There's got to be a pro Kelly angle there somewhere. Maybe he's trying to recruit a dude whose favorite animal is an eagle. Like, there's always an angle when it comes to this guy. Oh, it's so funny to me. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, Mark. Come on, Mark. After seeing the Senior Bowl, if Hartman was back, he might be 5th on the depth chart. That's brutal. Funny as heck, but brutal. Oh, man. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. I thought it was funny because there's 0% chance he wanted to be there, but they're paying him $10 million, so he has to show up. It's just, there's always an angle. And if it's Kelly involved, I'm good. What's the angle? How's this benefit Kelly? We got to make sure there's a camera around. I remind people all the time, before coaching, Kelly was literally a Boston politician, which is literally perfect. It's exactly what I think of him. It's exactly how he operates. It all lines up. Auburn's going to use that in their promo. Yeah. Chief, good morning. Philly special. What's going on, Angela? It's always good to have you here. Eric, what's going on? The good doc, Jay Carr, Brian, Steven, what's up? Oh, man. Wife's getting x-rays. Good luck with that. I hope that goes well. Jay Lehman, good to have you here. Took a little social media break over January, I think. That's not nearly as weird as Pat taking a month off Miller Lite. Started to throw me off. I started to lose track of my partner's personality there. I wasn't used to him being Miller Lite free for that long. Kind of threw me off, be honest. Kind of threw me off. Joshua, what's going on? Brandon Fry. Can't wait for the blue and gold. Brandon, does that mean I have your commitment? You're coming from Atlanta for the party? Bring your family and then you all have a place to hang out. Let's do it. Yeah, and then I believe it's the Georgia Tech game being played in that the Georgia Dome or whatever you call that in Atlanta. So then Brandon will be able to host a party on the way back. Oh, let's get to the introduction. I didn't even do that yet. See, I got wrapped up in what we were talking about. As always, you can find the program at YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny as well. Notifications on that way you're alerted every time a new episode drops. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it if you don't want to look at my face. I certainly don't blame you. The call-in lines, you already know them. 312-988-15. Dialed up. Tell Johnny all you heard and seen. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Inc. USA Today, Fighting Irish, where I read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Former Captain Mike Goolsby, leading tackler, by the way, also going to be at the blue and gold game. Unlike Kelly, Freeman put together a beautiful program for the alumni, the football playing alumni, to be able to get back to campus for Blue and Gold Week. They have some fun things planned, a banquet, something Friday night. It's really nice what Freeman's putting together and inviting all of those old players to be a part of Blue and Gold Weekend. So Goolsby's going to be around. So he's going to be at the tailgate. Who knows? Maybe some other players are going to come by. Like we got a different situation brewing here, folks. We're cranking up the heat, and I love it. Cranking up the heat. Are you Goolsby +1? All I said is, I got this set up. I got my team, my people that help with different parts of putting it all together. I said, I just need you to show up and have a good beer and be with the people. It's perfect. It's perfect. So let's get into a couple chats here, and then we'll take a couple calls. I don't want to make people wait. 618, you'll come up first. Look at this. This is a lot for a Monday. I got to give you credit, Chief. That's right, folks. Welcome in. Welcome back to it. Can a Notre Dame win a title before I'm in the ground like the Skunk Rats edition of the Always Irish show? You can find a program on YouTube. Sub to it. That's a lot of effort on a Monday morning, Chief. And I'm doing it in my own weird accents, my own weird voices I do, changing my tone and all that. Somebody did email me and they were like, John, I like a lot of your football content. You know, some of your exuberance is a bit much, but I do like the way you think about football a lot of times. But they're like, I just can't do your introduction. Why do you got to change your voice and make all these goofy sounds and all that stuff? Like, can't you grow up a little bit? No, I can't. I like doing it. It's a goal of mine to see how many different accents in different ways, stupid, weird things I could change my voice for the introduction every time. It's fun for me. And that didn't come out of nowhere. One of my childhood sports radio guys, my favorite guy in Chicago, that was one of his things. Terry Boers, always making funny noises and weird sounds at inappropriate times that make it funny, all of that. That's what I grew up on. And it wasn't conscious, but I am sure some of that Uncle Terry being goofy with all the noises has bled into a part of that introduction. But no, I can't change it. It's just what comes out. And if you don't like that, you're probably not going to like anything else I do. Let's be realistic. Let's just be honest. Oh, thank you, though, Chief. That was pretty good. Who do you think the starting linebackers will be? Here's the issue you're going to run into, Mikey. That's my security guard at the tailgates, Mikey Pulls. I hope all the wedding planning's going okay and it hasn't stressed you guys out. Maybe you're all done with all that. Hopefully it was low-stress wedding planning for you. Here's the problem. I don't know what they have in mind as far as like lining up guys on this depth chart or whatever. I got a feeling KVA is too good to keep off the field right away. Like, I'm just telling you, he's one of those guys that is just, I think, too far advanced to keep him off the field. And so I don't know if that ruffles feathers with the other guys that are already in here or think it's going to be their time or whatever. I'm just telling you, this might be a situation where this is a guy that demands to play early and often, and it's just undeniable. And there's nothing you could do about it. And so I don't know what that means as far as who else is going to be mad about that or have to shift roles or whatever. He just might be that guy. And here's the most important part of this. Here's the most important part of this to me. This isn't just physical. Being physically ready to play young as a guy this young is rare already, but it's also the feel for the game. And that is very, very important when you're a linebacker, maybe more than a lot of places. So much of being a great linebacker is based on nuance and feel, kind of just knowing where to be, having a feel of where a play is going to go or to get your guys lined up or whatever it is. You know what I mean? All of the best linebackers you've ever seen in college and the pros or Notre Dame's best linebackers, they all have that intuition that a great linebacker has. You can't teach it. You can't teach that feel for the game, that feel for the plays. KVA has that at an advanced level already this young. So I don't know what that means for the reshuffling of the rest of that deck. But he may be undeniable, and then you got to play him. And then you got to let him rip and see him develop. So that's what I think is going to mess up some of this in a good way. In a good way, because he might be undeniable. Just athletically would be one thing, but at linebacker, you got to have more than that. He's got that feel of where these plays are going. He's one of those guys. He has that natural gift. Everybody has their natural gifts, whether it's on an athletic field or whatever it is. That's one of his, is having that feel. If he warrants playing early, you play him early. Shuffle the deck chairs around after that. C. Jones, who? Week 1, Texas A&M will be the first test of potential versus results. Again, I don't want to overdo it, but it's such a huge moment. It just sounds cliche that every time I feel like we turn around, John's going, oh, there's Notre Dame in a must-game win in a big moment, blah, 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 blah. Like, you can't cry wolf with that a million times. But Notre Dame keeps finding themselves in unique places where you turn around and you're like, that's a must-win, big opportunity. It happens to be week 1 next year. In a big year, in year 3, big year for coaches in general. You know, no, I'm new, I don't know what's going on excuses are going to fly from the head coach. Got to make the playoff to be considered a good year. Want to be a part of the 12-teamer, all that stuff. Like, you got to find a way to win this one. It's just, I know it's tough when you're playing a Mike Elko defense and all that stuff, but I got to tell you, all got to admit this. You know that Mike Elko teams are going to be well coached, well disciplined, and have a great defense. You know that. If ever there was a time to be able to catch a Mike Elko team that isn't fully formed, this would be it. Year 1, week 1. Year 1, week 1. Get this one. And then you know what you could do? Worry about how they develop for a whole nother year before they open at your place the next year. So I'm just saying, I don't want to be over dramatic, but when you look at Notre Dame's schedule opening with A&M and then what they have between that and hosting Florida State, this is a huge opportunity for momentum. Not to start with the loss and you're going, oh man, are our playoff hopes dead already? Week 1, now we're already questioning things. And everybody's down in the dumps because the momentum builds all summer and then it ramps up to an atmospheric level in August when camp starts. Everybody in America is excited because their team hasn't lost yet and everybody has legitimate hope for those 3 weeks in August or whatever. All of that build up. You lose week 1, it's just the air leaves the balloon and you're just like, okay, here we go. Think of the difference between starting off the year with the big win like this, that big old fat Aggie feather in your cap, as you enter the rest of that schedule, which should be super manageable, getting into Florida State at home. And it's like, I don't know what Florida State's going to be. I don't know what to expect out of Louisville this year after they surprised everybody last year. But I know this, I feel a lot better that it's at our joint this year. And it isn't walking into that Super Bowl where only half the people were invited. Mark, I feel like having Riley Leonard's going to be different. He said in his presser, he doesn't feel the need to elevate the offense, just a supporting role. I think Hartman tried to be the guy too much. Mark, I think you could feel Hartman pressing at times. I feel like you could see Hartman pressing at times. Also, in defense of Hartman at times, maybe he felt like he had to try and press and do everything on his own because he didn't feel like he had what he needed around him or something. So I understand if you feel that pressure, the offense isn't operating great and you don't have all the weapons you want or whatever, you might press. Maybe he felt like he had to do that. I'm not putting that all on him. Suffice it to say that project just didn't end up as well as any of us wanted. I think May kind of saw the writing on the wall. Shanklin is the guy his staff really wants at that position. Jason, yeah, I'm going to get into that in a second. John, don't go crazy over CJ May's decommitment. I don't think it's a huge deal, and it is replaceable. Anders says, somebody saying Deuce Knight also knocked ND about their visit policy. CJ May said that was a big reason he decommitted. ND, like the jealous boyfriend, have some self-confidence in change. The way I look at it is, I don't know. How do you expect the staff to navigate that? It's a very, very fair question. How do you expect the staff to navigate you being committed to Notre Dame, verbal commitment to Notre Dame, and you're still taking visits and entertaining other teams and all that? It's a very, very tricky give, take, push, pull. Because if you just say to these good players, hey, if you're going to commit to us, but you're going to be, taking visits to other places or whatever, you're out of here. You're out of the class. You're losing your spot. I mean, That's one way you could do it, but you're going to run off a lot of the best players that want to be wined and dined and hit all these different places or whatever. At the same time, Notre Dame's probably saying, if you're committed to us, but you're taking trips other places, we're questioning how committed to us you are, and you need to know you don't have a spot guarantee. We're going to continue to recruit your position hard because we're just not sold that you're sold. And apparently, CJ May wasn't sold. So that's a very tricky dynamic. It works both ways. So I don't know. It's a tricky thing. Here's what I will say though. If this was going to happen, you'd rather it happen now. Look at how far ahead Notre Dame is in the 25 class. It's not like this is happening a week before signing day of that class and you have no time to backfill or move things around to accommodate. So number one is you have a ton of time to be able to process this and adjust your plans and all that stuff. But also, the other thing is they like Shanklin. And so I don't know if that's like something where they think that's coming and CJ May knows that's coming or whatever. But I also know this CJ May thing has been teetering for a while. That's the other thing. Nobody, if you follow this recruiting at all, none of this has been a secret. It's been on other recruiting shows. They've been talking all about it and they're going, this has been in the works. So when I saw on Twitter it was official, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, what happened? I thought everything was perfect. This has been talked about. Brandon says, I think he came during junior day during the cold and got scared of the weather. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, whatever. I know they want Shanklin, like Shanklin. I don't know what's going to happen there. But if you're going to lose a 25 guy, now's the time to do it. Like, you're plenty early. I'm not going to worry about it. And the other thing is the timing. Again, if you're going to lose a guy, now's the time to lose a guy. But it wasn't a surprise to the staff. Nobody was shocked by it. I'm sure they already have their backup plans and everything in place. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Carberry, I'm still not sold. Deuce even signs with us, really. It is possible that everybody starts offering the world to him as he continues to develop. The only thing I could give you to make you feel better about Deuce ending up in Notre Dame as the type of athlete from the part of the country that never ends up with Notre Dame, he fell in love with Freeman and the staff. That's what I was told. And that's a big deal. It's a big deal. If he had that close a relationship, bonded with Freeman to that level, and that's a part of all this, I think that could sway, if big offers come with fat NIL, whatever might be coming his way, that personal relationship, maybe that'll make the difference. Yeah, or him playing Fortnite with Mike Singer of Blue and Gold. That's the thing. You can't be like, oh, come on, Mike, you're playing video games again. And hey, he found a way to connect with our quarterback. There you go, man. By the way, Goolsby and I are going to have Singer on. Might even be tonight. We're going to interview him, catch up with old Mike Singer. And so that should be interesting. We'll talk some recruiting and see what he thinks as a guy who's more intimately connected to that part. Ohio podcast. That a new logo I see? Is that a new logo? I notice things like that. Jason Smith, I'm not mad at the policy. I see both sides. I think you'll get burned a lot more with the visit policy change and you will lose because of the policy, but I wouldn't be mad if it changed. You guys, it's a very, very true. I notice things like that, Ohio Pod. I like it. There's no right or wrong on this. And here's the other issue. Blyberg, I'm from Mississippi. Outside my neighborhood, not one person knows ND exists. That's what I'm telling you. You're pulling a kid who has the body type. We don't get a quarterback ever. And you're pulling him out of a part of the country at a school district area that Notre Dame never pulls any talent ever. That's a big deal. It's a big deal. I have told you guys before. I interviewed one of the Florida recruiting guys who just follows the Florida 7-on-7 circuit of the Florida, South Florida area. And he was pro Notre Dame, but he was working for Rivals, just doing the Florida beat. And I had him on. This was when I was still doing the show out of the office. Way back when I used to record after everybody left so I didn't scare anybody. And I had him on. And I asked him about a lot of this high school talent. He goes, John, these guys couldn't tell you where Notre Dame is on a map. They have no idea. These Florida boys down here, they could not tell you what state Notre Dame's in. That's how far removed out of the loop Notre Dame is in some of those SEC circles down there. He's like, I'll ask these guys about Notre Dame. They don't even know where it is on a map. Have no idea. It's a different world. It's a different world. But it is a really big. Here's the part I don't like about this. But I feel like it's kind of the way it goes. It feels like the better the player, the more the leeway. Does it not? And that probably should not be how this goes. But it really feels like the better the player, the more the leash they give them, right? The better the player you have on the hook, the more leeway you're going to give them before you say, I don't like you doing that. I'm going to cut you loose. It's probably not the fairest thing to do if there is leeway, but you know how it is. The better the player, the more you get away with. Even in recruiting or on your team, you all know how it is. The better the player, the more you get away with. The more valuable you are, the more you get away with. I bring up the example all the time, man. When you work for a company, the head sales guy gets to pretty much do what he wants. Every company I've worked for, an official, business outside company, the top salesman kind of gets to do what he wants. Come and go, take a day off, come in late, you do what you want. You know why? Because he delivers. He delivers. And so, if that guy needs to take a day off, he takes a day off. Because when he works, he delivers. That's just kind of the way of the world. That's just how it is. Jimmy Johnson used to cut players if they were late to film sessions, even though his stars were always late. That's interesting. You can't miss a film session. You're in trouble. Arrested 8 times for ripping up Miami? No problem. Get in there, son. It's really funny, the arbitrary lines we draw. Those teams were literally menaces to society, and it was no problem. But you, God forbid, you miss one of those meetings, and you're in big, big trouble, mister. Oh, my God, Brandon, you're exactly right. It's kind of like the hotter girl you're with, the more you'll put up with her doing things you don't like. 100%, there's an inverse ratio. That's just how it goes. It isn't just like that. I see that even with good-looking girls when they're not dating anybody. Good-looking women get away with everything in society. Pretty privilege, you ever heard of that? Pretty privilege, they call it. Good-looking women get away with murder. They can walk around in society and act like they own everything and everybody owes them the world and they're entitled, and they walk around and give everybody the Karen look and expect the whole world to bow down because they know they're good-looking and everybody's looking at them. That's been a thing forever. That's been a thing forever. They get along with a lot. James Fulmer. John, can you give me a phone number to give you a holler donation? I keep messing up the phone numbers. 312-900-8815 is going to be the call-in line. But the donation goes through YouTube. That's a different thing. Johnson's famous quote was, I treat everybody the same, differently. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Sean Duffy. John, what's ND's number one thing you're looking at going into spring? I got a couple of them. Number one is 618. I'm coming to you in a minute. Number one is This is the first year I can ever remember a blue and gold game where I mean this, Sean. I am genuinely intrigued to see all of the quarterbacks play. All. There have been years where I'm not excited to see any of the quarterbacks. The Buckner getting injured, Pine into the starting role, blue and gold game. Yeah, not interested. Was not interested. Kind of wanted to cover my eyes and felt bad for Freeman. That was his first go around at it. Not interested to see any of that. None. You didn't even get Buckner. It was Pine. I just no. But like now that we're a year further and we've seen more of Angeli, I'm genuinely interested in seeing all the quarterbacks. Also, it's rough in the spring for this. I want to see the offensive line. I'm starting to get a little worried. I see the skill talent improving. I see the quarterback room improving, all that stuff. I'm a little worried about this offensive line. So I don't know how much of that you could gauge in the spring, but I want to see some of that. And then I'm with Andrew Gilmore. I want to see some wide receivers. I want to see you make some moves. I want to see different guys out there. I want to see guys have a shot to play early. Like, you're in a position where you need that. You need help there from wherever you could get help there. So that's what I want to see. But I'm genuinely excited to be able to get into a position where I could watch all those quarterbacks and enjoy it and really be like, okay, I want to see what this guy has. So I don't know. This is an interesting one. Phone's coming up. John, when does college football start a players union? Here's what's very, very interesting about that. What's very interesting about that is back in the day, when was it? 10 or 12 years ago when I was living across the street from Northwestern. Back then, this would have been, I don't know, 12 years ago, something like that. I remember waking up and being like, that feeling of like there's commotion going on around you. I woke up one morning, I'm like, what is going on? I feel like there's like commotion. And I look outside, there's a bunch of news trucks at Northwestern Stadium and all this. That never happens. So I'm like, okay, did Fitzgerald quit? Why do people magically suddenly act like they care about Northwestern all of a sudden? What that was all about was the Northwestern players saying we want to unionize, and that got some media run. This was a dozen years ago, and the smart Northwestern people were the ones, the players were the ones like, no, we think we should be getting some money and unionize and have protection and insurance and all this stuff. And so even back then, it was talked about these guys should unionize. It's not fair. We're being taken advantage of, all that sort of stuff. So I just think that's been a thing for a while. And so I think it might have to be the courts that finally allow it, because I don't think college football wants to allow that and get into that, calling them employees and doing all that. But if the courts mandate it, then you're in for a whole new world. You're in for a whole new world, because I think those courts they're favoring on everything on favor of the players now, not the coaches, not the power systems that have always been. It's giving the power back to the players. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's where it goes. So I don't know. Anders saying the unions only come when they become employees. The court shut down the union idea already. Whatever. I know that the players are going to want more power the further we go. Can we all agree on that? They're going to want more power, and I'm already seeing that power dynamic shift. All those coaches being held ransom for playing time. You can't tell a guy, hey, wait your turn, earn your role, work up or whatever. No, coach. No, thanks, coach. I'm going to go somewhere else with a little better NIL where they're going to start me right away. Everything's changing with these coaches and how this all works, you guys. It's all changing. It's just a very, very different world. Very, very different world. 618, what's going on? Good morning. Yo. We're into the abyss. 618. I don't even hear him sleeping. Usually when he does that, he's asleep. I don't hear it. Call back 618. 859, what's going on? I'm scared to ask.
Well, first of all, okay, I don't know how old your boy Andrew Gilmore is, but either you love Notre Dame or you don't. When you decommit, either you want to be there or you don't. If Andy wants to have a policy, I get why they're doing that. You think you're going to do the work and go to class and he'll start bitching about the damn cold weather or the women aren't hot enough. No. If you're given a dream to go to Notre Dame, you don't want to be there? Fuck. Oh, sorry. You shouldn't go there. No. We should change our policy. No.
All right, Tim, I don't think Notre Dame wants to be in a position where everything is changing with a lot of these other teams. And then if you're the outlier that's putting the hard line stance in the ground, how are you going to land anybody when the other teams are more open to letting guys weigh their options and go around and all that kind of stuff? And then you're going to be the one. I know
you're right.
You're going to be the one that goes, if you're interested here, you got to shut it all down. You're in a tight spot there because what that means is, Tim, you're only getting the Notre Dameiest of the most Notre Dame, and they got to be 100% sold, and that's not for everybody right away. And I just think Notre Dame doesn't want to put themselves in a corner that makes it harder to land these guys, but you also don't want to get walked all over at the same time. I totally understand it. It's a tough predicament.
I know you're right. It just hurts. Now, the other thing, you got to stop going week one. No. The new campaign is you start, we need a week zero. Remember that? Week zero. Would we rather play week zero with an easy team and have 2 weeks to get ready for Horsey?
Can I ask you this? Is that a realistic thing being talked about? Or is that just something you want?
It was floated out there.
Like, dude, I get it. I totally understand your desire to want to get a pregame in before we go to Texas A&M.
$5 million to be the AD.
Like,
hey, wait a minute.
But where did you... I didn't know if this is something you have said. This would be a great idea for the 12th game. Notre Dame should consider putting it in the front end of that schedule instead of further down in the back. I totally understand that. Did you come up with that, or is that being talked about as a realistic angle for this game? I don't know the answer.
Something I saw out there was originally week zero Shamrock Series Army. I did see that. But even not, you're paid the big bucks. Why wouldn't you do that? Can we think through this? Your biggest job as an AD is to hire a great football coach and win. So when you're looking at, you're telling me these people are a hell of a lot brighter than I am. You're telling me they didn't think about this? Why do we always have to put ourselves behind the 8 ball?
Yeah. The other issue is Notre Dame's just so unique. There's so many extra things that go into this. It's just a lot more complicated. And I get Notre Dame. They want to thread the needle. And so I think what they ended up doing with May is kind of saying, okay, we know you're taking other visits, which means we have to full on recruit your position ongoing as if we can't count on you because we really don't think we can count on you. The staff's not surprised by this at all. So then you would ask the question of why commit then if you're not sure, but maybe he was sure and then things change. I don't know. Maybe I changed my mind a lot when I was 17 or 18 too. I don't know.
No, I didn't. No, I'm not. No. And see, that's the thing. But I get it. I'm not that kid. They're prima donnas. And I don't care if he decommits. We'll find somebody else. And if he doesn't want to be there, he's going to be unhappy when he's, like you said, he's a defensive lineman. Somebody else is going to beat him out. He's going to hit the door anyway because they've made it too easy. I think your buddy Goolsby is good. They don't make it tougher for anybody anymore. And did you ever hear a speech by Lou Holtz where he goes about how adversity, they don't know how to face it anymore? We wouldn't even have been able to go to World War II with this generation. We wouldn't have gone on the beaches of Normandy.
Yeah, it's a changing. Man, now you're getting into a bigger picture thing about, life and how you're growing up coddled and everybody gets a participation trophy and nobody has to wait for anything. That's a real one, Tim. Nobody having to wait for anything is a real deal now because these coaches, it's really hard to build any really high-level depth because if a guy's not starting and they think they should, they're going to jump somewhere where they're going to let him start right away. Like, there's no, waiting your time behind a veteran and earning your spot anymore. It's just, I think I should be able to play right away, and if I'm not, I'm out of here. I don't know, man. It's a new age way to think.
Well, the other thing is going to be who has the most cash reserves, because that's what this is going to come down to.
Yeah.
How much, like you talked about, NLL, who can pay once you get there, all right, let's just start writing checks. Because that's going to create dissent in the locker room. Because let's say you're a second string and you're busting your tail. Oh, I'm only getting 5,000. Well, the guy ahead of me is getting 100 grand or whatever. I'm just using fictitious numbers, but I mean, think about it from that standpoint. People are going to go, well, screw this.
Yeah.
Because here's the sad thing: unless you really want to degree, but across the whole country, we can't find 25 good athletes that can want a degree. Because do the stats, pop it up. You only play in the NFL if you're lucky 3.5 years, maybe 4. I think you have to be in the NFL for 4 years to get a pension. You sell that, and if you can't get those guys, well, do a little more work. And you know how close we were with Kelly, and he had an easier schedule. If he would have just put a little more work in and put some time to get a great quarterback, we might not be talking about having a title. We have another one. He wouldn't do the work. He was lazy.
Yeah.
So go release an Eagle. And then my final point, go back to this week. No, this is why the ADs, if that's a joke, making $5 million a year, you look at the schedule. Well, wait a minute. I got a week 0. I'm going, or I have my assistant doing. I'm trying to find every contact program. And you want to do a Shamrock Series? Put it in Yankee Stadium. You can find another team that would love to go to Yankee Stadium, or do a Division II thing again, like we did with Tennessee State. Why wouldn't you do that? I want somebody to tell me logically why that can't happen. You've got the connections with Notre Dame. I don't have them anymore. Why can't this get done?
Yeah, man. And the scheduling thing, it's a little tricky, man. Like because you're half in bed with the ACC, then you have those remaining games, and then, conferences are
Don't get me going on the ACC.
It's going to be interesting.
I hate that. No.
It's going to be interesting.
Captain Jack was no. He signed way too long. Why would you lock yourself in for that many freaking years? That was one of the dumbest lazy moves. Oh, I guess he was sleeping in his Betty Bye in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And so how long does that deal go on for, that we play the rotation 5 ACC teams? How long is that deal for? Do you know?
I think it's into the 30s.
Wow, that's a long time.
We're 2024. It's at least 6 more years, if not longer.
Yeah, and then you know what that's going to mess up, Tim? I'd like your opinion on this. It's going to mess up the Stanford game. Because now that they're joining, you're not going to play them every year. So that's not going to be a yearly thing anymore with Stanford. You got to think about that, because they get into that ACC rotation.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, for a while, you got to remember, they owned us for a while. Now we've owned them. I like when we own them, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to talk about the game where they cost us the national title in 1990.
It was a big,
I don't know.
It was a really big issue to me when I started seeing Kelly losing out some tight end and O-line recruits to Stanford, and they're like crushing us. I'm like, dude, if we can't even be the best smart school, what are we doing here? Shut it all down. If Notre Dame, seriously,
really?
if
you
Notre
want me
Dame
to have a bad Monday?
If you can't even be the best smart school, shut it all down. I don't know what we're doing here and why.
Well, I agree. How about going from, I had 5 years of a stupid coach in Jerry Faust, the coach at Moeller, which was a rival of my high school. We only have 5 bad years. We've now had, realistically, 20-plus years of bad football. Where I don't count. Kelly era, he did enough for it, but no. You can't end a year by being the disgrace once a year, and that's what Kelly did.
Yeah.
Anybody that lives and dies Notre Dame ever would think Brian Kelly was worth anything is stupid. I'm sorry. You don't get it. You don't end like that. He was embarrassed once a freaking year.
Hey, Tim, whenever they put up these rankings of the best active college football coaches, Kelly ends up 2nd or 3rd on most of those lists. He just does. He ends up sometimes ahead of Dabo, who's even won multiple championships. He's in that top 5. Anytime a top active coach alert comes out, he's in the top 5. He just is.
That may be true, but you know what I'm saying to that? That the generation that would even buy into that list is the participation generation. One big game he won, and one. What trophy does he have? Sweeney's got 2 national title rings. Yeah. What's Kelly got? None.
Hey, I value
None.
that. I value.
Embarrassed.
No.
3 times.
The Camping World Bowl was a big deal to me. All right, I cherish that win.
Oh, please, for the love of God.
Unbelievable. And should I even ask you about the other sports, or do I not want to go there?
You want me to go there? Oh, well, okay. Okay. Well, first of all, it's a rough week. We got Duke blown out. That line's got to be at least 20 because they'll blow us out. And you asked me, I feel so sorry for this head coach because he cares. If you want somebody that lives and dies in Notre Dame and cares about the program, go see his post-game press conference with the Citadel. That's why I told me this guy gets it. Give me a year or two to get 1-2 big recruits in, let him go. Now, the women, like I said, we got to get our lady paid so that we can build this dominant backcourt. We got to beat Louisville. I think about I'm 2 hours from that stupid state. I hate the whole state of Kentucky. I wish I was never born in the state, but it is what it is. And don't get me going about UK, the Wildcats, how many Christmases they ruined for me when I was growing up as a little kid in the 70s when we were #1 in the country in basketball. And we'd have to, some moron, tell you how dumb our athletic department was back then, signed a deal to play in Louisville. And they thought, that'd be a neutral court. We'd play in Louisville's home stadium. Yeah, you morons, you think?
Tim.
Did I give you a good show, John?
You always got something loaded up and ready to rock, baby. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We will look forward to the blue and gold game, and I hope we're going to get more answers about where our team is at that point. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I got one question for you. What's up with our coaches? Is he going to sign the extension or what?
I don't know. I haven't heard a dang thing. I haven't heard nothing about Al Golden stuff. I haven't read about it. I haven't heard about it. Nobody's given me a secret tidbit. I haven't heard nothing. So I guess we wait and see. I don't know. Haven't heard a word.
I guess how the NFL ends up will be key too. Once all those coaching positions are filled and they've named their staff. So when I see defensive coordinators go off the board, that helps.
Yeah, that's what I was.
But that's the other thing with him. You got to be honest with us. What do you want? Freeman's a bright man. You can't tell me I've been in management. You sit down and have a meeting. Where are you at? What do you want?
Yeah.
Should we move on? Do you want to move on? I mean, they're not stupid. I wouldn't think. Have these conversations. This isn't rocket science.
Yeah, but I guess if there's already an offer out there, I don't know what else there is to talk about. It's, you know what I mean? You're like, here's what it is. They already, I don't know. I don't, and I also never know how in how much the head coach knows, right? Like you hear these guys are close, these guys are friends, blah, 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 blah. Like, I wonder how much does Freeman know about the other offers or people that are throwing lines in the water at the assistants? Is that stuff they keep quiet and figure it out? Or do they go to Freeman and go, hey, I got an opportunity. I'm kind of interested. What can we do? I've never understood how that part of the business works. How much that head coach knows of everything else going on of people that are interested in his guys. I've never gotten an answer. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, well, you would think if they hired you would be courteous and say, hey, I'm looking to jump here. This is what they're offering the money. If you really want to stay at Notre Dame. Yeah. If you go to that place and fall in love with it, I get if you want to have aspirations to be a head coach. I get that. But stay there. You can make enough money. We should be able to pay them enough. It's South Bend. The cost of living is not that bad. If you don't want to be there, then leave.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I have.
Here's my problem.
I got no info.
I can't comprehend that people don't live and die at a place like the decommits. Either you fall in love with that place, or willing to do the work to get there, then you do it. If not, then so be it. Move on. You're not one of us. I mean, why did your linebacker friend pick Notre Dame? I think you've asked him about it, and he's gone into why. It set him up for the rest of life. I guarantee you could go through his list. He's going to maybe invite to your blue and gold tailgate. You could put 100 guys and say, this is what it's done for me afterwards.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. You're right. There is a big picture perspective there for sure. Yeah, you're right, man. It's a unique thing when you're Notre Dame and you're trying to maintain your tradition and the values and the way you used to do things. It's a big deal to us. You're trying to navigate that with all these fast-paced changes, and it's just hard to make them blend together sometimes with how fast the sport's changing and our tradition and where those collide, and then where everything shakes out. And I think that's an ongoing issue for Notre Dame, trying to balance tradition versus getting as modern as is needed. That's kind of a modern day existential problem for Notre Dame, is navigating that. And it's not going away. It's not going away, Tim. So we're going to be uncomfortable with some of this, because things are going to keep changing quick and Notre Dame's going to want to keep pace.
Do you have any sense what the new president and the new AD are going to be like, or no clue? Are they going to be on board? Are they going to go?
Not yet. I'm working on that, Tim. I'm working on something on the Bavacqua angle, and then on the new president angle. But I don't have the information I need yet. I need my people to have their little meetings with these people, and then kind of drop the lines in the water. So I'm working on that, but I don't have it yet.
If you could, just shoot me a text and give me 10 years of my life back.
Yeah.
If they're on board. Now, if they're not on board, then hell, don't tell me.
Yeah, exactly. But the people that are going to meet with these people are people I trust to know what to look for. So I will be able to gauge. I'll trust kind of their gauge of where things are at. So it's going to be really interesting. And so I don't know, man. These are new, strange times, and we're entering the new playoff era. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be really, really interesting to see where Notre Dame fits in all this. But that is the modern age Notre Dame struggle, trying to hold on to your values and your tradition while blending it in the way the modern era does things. So, Tim, it's going to be uncomfortable with a lot of this stuff, and we're not going to like some of it, but you got it. These are the games you got to play to stay modern, I guess. I don't know, man.
No, you're right. And I'm always going to watch. I'll get frustrated and bother you with text. Think about it. You got one. Can you imagine have all of them like I do?
Yeah, I know. Must be nice.
All right. Take care. Have a good day, man.
Have a good one, Tim. Take it easy. He's ready to go on a Monday morning. Ready to go. 618, what's going on? Sorry I missed you earlier.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
John, I never felt, man, to be honest, man, that kid, I never felt CJ May was ever locked into Notre Dame, man. And then if you want to continuously make recruit and then do trips and make, you know what I'm saying, and go on, you know what I'm saying, visits, why commit?
Yeah, that's my question too. I don't know. Or is it a situation where a guy commits and then better offers come after he commits? And then you want to go see. You follow me? Like maybe at that time he didn't have as many high-level offers, but now that they're coming in, you want to check them out. I could understand that. But it leaves Notre Dame in a weird spot, man. It's a lose. You're going to lose either way, I feel like. If you take a hardline stance, I don't know what you do. What's the answer if you're Notre Dame?
I don't think we're going to lose. I think Shanklin is the guy who they wanted all along. And then I think maybe Shanklin might be like, hey, you know, and everybody has Shanklin going to Notre Dame so far. You know, you can't always trust all the experts or whatever, but, you know, majority of the time, some of them are right, some of them are wrong. You know?
But wait, here's my issue, though. People are saying that May didn't like Notre Dame's policy or whatever, but what was the policy? He was committed to us and was taking visits elsewhere. What's the policy? It's not like Notre Dame told him you don't have a spot anymore, or did they and I missed that? Or is it just the concept that Notre Dame didn't like it and Notre Dame let them know they didn't like it? Is that what it
John,
is?
You have to look at it on both ends, man. They're recruiting a better they're recruiting a better DN than Shanklin, who's probably close to committing to Notre Dame. And he ain't liking it. And the Auburn offer was there around the same time that the Notre Dame offer was there. So he probably said, well, I'll just stay close to home. And that's probably what, you know what I'm saying, he locked in because of a commit that committed and then got him to lock in and commit to Notre Dame, which something I want to talk about, man. Don't believe the hype when it come down to what's this kid name? The quarterback. And I believe he's locked into Notre Dame. He's still trying to recruit for Notre Dame. Yes, every kid is going to let everybody know, hey, I got this offer. That's the power of social media now, man. It's the power of social media that they starting to show that, like, hey, I got this offer, I got that offer, you know.
Yeah, and some people are saying the staff maybe even kind of initiated some of this or was okay with him leaving. And the only way that happens is The only way
I
that,
believe so.
but wait, the only way that happens is if Notre Dame is supremely confident that they have a guy that's going to fill that spot that's even better. So if that's what happened,
They do.
I'm even less worried. So then fine.
They do. That's the reason why I believe that
Well,
they didn't mind him.
I'll believe it when I see it,
Shanklin
though.
is
I'll
the better
believe,
player.
okay, but I need the Shanklin to be in the fold. What a great golf name, by the way. I wish my name was Shanklin. I'm a golfer. That's a bad name. But I'm just saying, like,
No.
I fine. If that's what it is, fine. So then I
But
want,
Shanklin hasn't
okay.
committed. Shanklin hasn't committed yet because I believe that it's coming close to him committing, but he's taking his visits he don't want to commit and then still be taking visits to get these big offers.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what these kids fail to realize. Like, hey man, if you're gonna go out there and you're gonna be recruited, take all the visits before you commit. Don't commit and then they say, hey, we're gonna buy your mother a house on the ocean front.
Yeah.
And then you be like, well, I gotta go ahead and decommit because this is for the family.
Yeah.
You got to take everything into consideration, and I believe, man, that the quarterback is locked in. He's still recruiting for Notre Dame, man. Until the day I see him stop recruiting for Notre Dame, yes, he's locked in.
Man, that's one of the biggest indicators now on social media. You could kind of see some of that buy-in, and when I see those quarterbacks recruiting their butts off on social media, I love it. It's another comfort to me. Like, if a guy wasn't sold that he's going to end up here, he definitely isn't taking his own time to recruit other guys. So that's a good sign. But I am told that Deuce loves the Notre Dame staff and Freeman.
Yeah, and like CJ Carr, with last year when he came down there around CJ Carr last year, we was kind of worried about CJ Carr a little bit last year because of Tommy Reese left. And then, he stopped for a little while showing his hand, but he wound up, being locked in. He's still locked in, but I believe that the key Deuce is going to sign. He's going to commit. He's fully committed to Notre Dame. Yes, I will post it too if I'm a kid. I'm an 18. This is a 18-year-old kid. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. 16, 17-year-old kid. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to show who all recruiting me, but show them where I'm locked in as well.
Yeah. It's just tough, man. I feel like Notre Dame keeps running into these old school kind of ways, crashing up against modern ways, and you just gotta kind of pick your spots, I think. Freeman knows the score, though. You can't recruit the best guys and then be like, but if you look anywhere else, we're not interested. That ain't gonna fly. You're not gonna land any. You're not gonna land any if that's what you're doing. Because the best players, their ego, man. These dudes' ego when you're a top line guy. They want that. They want to be courted. They want to be dated. They want the red carpet. They want all the bouquets. And if you just tell them, if you come to Notre Dame, you can't do any of that, they're not going to be interested. I get it. You're right in the middle. And then you got to, I guess, trust Freeman that where he draws the line, he draws the line. I don't know, but it's uncomfortable. Thank you. $10 holla, Ryan Elliott. Right to the old phone line fund. Thank you, Ryan. Really appreciate you on a Monday. Thank you. So, I don't know, man. It's
I really
just
think if
weird.
Duke was going to decommit, Duke would have decommitted a long time ago, man. And we got the right offensive coordinator for Duke. Because Duke got to see what he did at LSU. With the quarterback with Daniels.
Yeah,
we're going to be okay when it comes down to Duke.
Hey, can I change?
Duke's also going to see how Riley Leonard takes to his offense too.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask you. I
think that's the type of quarterback that Notre Dame is throwing a transition into.
Let me ask
no more
you
traditional drop back passes. It's going to be.
This is a serious question.
This
is a serious
question.
We
get another offensive coordinator, another head coach.
I want to know, and I need to know: are you at all worried about Riley Leonard and him running and taking shots or maybe getting dinged up. He had the cleanup procedure that got overblown. It turned out it ain't as big of a deal as we were worried. Do you have any concern at all about that guy running and taking a hit and then we're in a rough spot? Or do you feel like he is a big, strong boy? Let's roll. Where are you at?
I'm on both sides of the fence, John, because of the situation is like, I think he kind of came back a little bit too fast because the CJ Carr talk was starting to be prominent, man. People were starting to talk about CJ Carr. Hey, man, we all were starting to talk about CJ Carr, man. How everybody was talking about how good he looked, but then again, it was people starting to talk about Minchie as well, about the arm strength of Minchie. So he was like, man, I got to get in there and I got to work out. I can't miss none of this. I'm hoping that nothing go wrong with him. But like I said in the offseason, I said, man, look, I don't believe – the only reason I believe that they wanted him to bridge that gap to Deuce Knight. This is what Deuce Knight, this is what the offense is going to look out like with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be – this is going to be a big year, man. It feels like this is a big pivot point year for Freeman and kind of where this is at. It feels to me like this is maybe getting to be into like the first year that isn't like the developmental years of the Freeman era. Like we're starting to turn the page and people are getting ready to start having results. Like through all this building and the frustration and all that, I think people are ready for results, man. This is a big year and it all starts down in oil money land. Got to get it.
Yeah, I don't see, man. I see Notre Dame having really one tough game, and it all depends on how their defense looks. That's Florida State, man. Other than that, man, and then I'm looking to see who that 12th game going to be against also, man.
I don't expect it to be against. It ain't going to be a big brand name, so I'm not even really that interested because it isn't going to be. It isn't going to be one. It's just a matter of who it's going to be and where you're going to put it on the schedule. And I mean,
and that's okay with me.
Hey, I love the idea of putting it week 0 against a lesser opponent to get one in the books before A&M. I would love that. I just don't know how realistic that is on the scheduling model. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but I love the creativity of Tim to do that. Yeah, week 0 against Troy. There you go. We can reunite with our old buddy, Mr. 39.5 points per game. We can reunite with him.
Now, we all know that was overblown. That 39.5 points was overblown, man. And defense scored the majority of the points. So, He
said 39.5 overblown. We scored 98 points against Navy and then can't do diddly poo against Louisville. But at least we scored 98 against Navy, damn it. Oh, my God.
Don't forget about the
Notre Dame football makes me want to lose my mind. It makes me lose my mind. It makes me lose my mind, Notre Dame football, man.
Don't forget about the Ohio State game.
Oh, God.
They couldn't even move the ball against Ohio State. If it wasn't for the defense, we probably would have got booed out against Ohio State.
The further we get away from the Ohio State game, the matter I'm getting about the Ohio State game. There were literally 80 different points of that game. We could have done one thing differently in one, and we didn't do any of them. It's the universe letting us know, Notre Dame, you ain't ready for this yet. You didn't earn this yet. You didn't deserve this yet. I'm ready for that to change in the big game moments.
And I'm just want, man. And then I'm seeing something like in the playoffs. I don't even think they can get a top 5 berth.
It's going to be interesting.
I think they have to be 6 on down because of the Power 5 schools, or Power 4, or Power 3, whatever you want to call it. I call it the Power 2.
Yeah, no kidding.
They get 5 spots.
Hey, listen.
They get
you know what? Hey, you brought this up. I'm glad you brought this up. I've been reading about some of the structuring of the new playoff format and a lot of the negotiations that are going on and the suggestions of how we're going to do this kind of stuff. You are right. It is the Power 2. It is, and I'm assuming you mean the Big Ten and the SEC. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
they are the power players. Everybody needs to understand right now, those are the two groups that are dictating a lot of the big moves. They're the power players. They're the ones with the biggest TV deals. They're the ones with the cachet, and they think they're the only ones who can win a title. Those are the two groups. So we just need to make sure Bavak was in the same room to not let them all go crazy with whatever else they're going to do. But those are the two power players in college football. Big Ten, SEC right now. They're it.
Yeah, the power too. You know, I mean, everybody else is just lacking behind. Everybody else is like a big major.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm telling you.
To me, every other conference, the other conferences are a group of 5. The rest, there's only 2 conferences that count.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. And I am genuinely very intrigued to see the new look Big Ten. I think it's going to be way more well-rounded, man. You're going to, some of those Pac-12 teams, they could beat a lot of those middle of the rung Big Ten teams. They're going to be taking more losses because I think those Pac-12 teams could beat that middle ground Big Ten team most weeks. I think it's really going to affect the Big Ten, I think. And those middle tier teams are going to be catching a lot more losses they're not used to. I'm intrigued by it. I'm ready for
it. And another thing about that, I mean, I think Washington take a step back this year. I think SC take a step forward this year.
Interesting.
I think SC lose 1 game, and that's to Notre Dame.
Ooh.
I mean, no, wait a minute. I take it back. I think they play Ohio State, too. So, yeah, they lose a couple games this year, but they be way better than what they was last year.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And all
the travel
too. I want USC going to fly across the country to play Rutgers the second week in November, icy cold. Like, I want to see their misery too. You know what I mean? We're in LA. How about you fly all the way to Penn State in November? Good luck. Like, that's what I want, man. That sounds, I would love to just laugh at that.
On a Thursday night. At that.
Yeah, enjoy that. Enjoy that. It's going to be nice and warm, LA style. Bring your surfboard. You can go down a snowdrift on it. Like, I don't know, man. And so this is going to be really interesting. I got to tell you, I have not been this excited for Notre Dame to start spring football in a very, very long time. I am genuinely,
I will be there.
Man, I'm excited to get a look at the roster, see all these quarterbacks, the younger running backs getting more carries, the early enrollees being able to get a lot of snaps. Like, I genuinely am really excited for this blue and gold game, way more than I am for most of them. This is going to be a great spring for Notre Dame. There's a lot to watch, and a lot to watch that you like. There's always a lot to watch, but I don't like what I'm seeing for most of it. I think I'm actually going to like what I see.
John, I predicted it. Yes, Riley Leonard going to start, but I got Minchie taking over as the number 2 quarterback.
Ooh, baby. Look at you dropping a hot take on a Monday. Ooh, baby. You're full of them.
His arm talent is just above levels, man. His arm talent is.
All right. Now wait. We're going to tie this in to one of the chats that man, it's like you're seeing what in my head. Thomas Wilkins says, John, will the second string QB Angeli be worth more than Riley because he's the QB with game experience? Wait a second.
No.
Wait. Is he worth more than Riley because he's a QB with game experience? Riley Leonard has way more game experience than Angeli, just not at Notre Dame. So that's number one thing I have to differ with. And number 2 is I am not sure that Kenny is not going to overtake Angeli for the number 2 spot. There you go. I just blew your mind on that. What do you think, 618?
See, no, because of, for one, neither one of them have experience in Denbrock offense. No quarterback on this roster has experience in Denbrock offense. That gives the opportunity for Angeli. They get the opportunity for Angeli, Carr, and Minchie to step up to be the number 2 because I think they'll do whatever it takes to make for for Riley Leonard to be the number one unless Riley Leonard just go out there and stink it up during the spring.
Yeah, it's going to be.
If
really
he pull a Tyler Buckner in the spring, I don't see him being beat out as the number one quarterback.
Here's what I'm most interested in seeing is I want to see if there's movement with these quarterbacks, either in the shuffling of first string, second string, third string, whatever. Then I want to see if anybody leaves from the quarterback room after spring. That's going to be a huge period of time to monitor all this. Is whatever shakes out in spring, does whoever loses the backup battle stick around in Notre Dame, or do they hit the portal? Meaning, it's going to be either Angeli or Minchie. Does one of those guys hit the portal, or do they both stick around? I don't know how that's going to go, but it's the next big thing to monitor, in my opinion.
Angeli will be leaving in the spring.
It's going to be really, really interesting. I
just dropped the bomb for you.
Well, there you go.
The bomb for you.
It's going to be.
Angeli will be leaving in the spring because his arm talent is not. And the one thing that we see from Mike Denbrock, he loves to throw it down the field, which I think that Minchie has the better arm talent to get it down the field. So, yes, we will be seeing this will be the last hurrah for Angeli.
Oh, that's going to be really interesting to see. And then the other thing that ties to that on the back end is Notre Dame's 5 or 6 scholarships over. And so they are going to have to drop a handful of guys. And I think they're figuring after spring ball is a time where everybody sees the new depth chart, kind of has a realistic idea of where they are. And at that point, some of them leave on their own. Some of them have a meeting with Freeman, and Freeman goes, listen, man, we love you. You're a good dude, but we all know the realities of this. You may want to consider looking elsewhere so you can get on the field, and it frees us up a spot. That's what I'm looking for. But the quarterback part's number one, first and foremost, and the staff can't mess it up. That's the other thing, man. You got to get this right. You got to make sure you have the right evaluation of your first string, second string, third string. You can't mess that up. Got to get it right.
Yep, and I think, man, I just think that, man, everybody, Minchie is the one guy that nobody is talking about. Everybody's talking about Angeli. Everybody's talking about Carr. And I love Carr to death, but I just think that Minchie has the better arm talent.
Yeah, man, and it's going to be really interesting. But the overarching point, I think, man, is look at how far we've come in a short window of time where now we actually have quarterbacks, multiple of them we're really excited about on the high end. I think that's the big takeaway here is Notre Dame is getting more spins at a high-end wheel at quarterback than we ever get. And so things are changing, man. It just all needs to come together on the field. We do all this and we hope and we see the potential. It all has to pay off on the field eventually, man. And I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. One of these years, give it to me, please. Give it to me.
Remember, both of them went to the Elite 11. Both of them, Minchie and what's the name? Minchie and Carr went to the Elite 11. Minchie ranked higher in his Elite 11 with guys like Dante Moore. It was a couple other, I think it was like 2 other 5-star quarterbacks, but it was more. Dante Moore was there. It was a couple other 5-stars, and he ranked higher than what at the end of the Elite 11 than what even Carr did. And Carr had like 2 5-stars, and everything else was subpar.
Yeah. So this is all trending up. The talent's trending up. The roster's going to turn over the next couple years, and it's going to be more and more the Freeman heavy guys. I'm telling you, this team is getting more playmakers. They're finding more guys on both sides of the ball that could be true playmakers, difference makers, more than we've had the last few years. You can see it. You can feel it. It just all has to bear out on the actual field, man. It's trending up. I like it. And I need you to make sure you trend up over to the tailgate party and crack some lids early in the morning. Crack some lids with us early in the morning, baby.
Bring the Budweiser on ice. Man.
That's what I'm talking about. And we just hope maybe the weather just won't be so damn miserable this year. Maybe we could, maybe it just won't be miserable cold. But hey, I appreciate you calling and starting us off on a Monday, man. Thank you.
All All right, man.
Take care. I love him when he calls, man. Always with the energy. Always with the Minchie has higher ceiling, period. Yeah. And somebody said, no one except the staff. It's Josh. No one except the staff's seen enough of Minchie to know how good he is right now. That's the big problem. That's the big problem. You're right. And that's why I don't know where Minchie falls. That's why you ask, is he the one that's falling through the cracks? Yeah, Angela, no sleep for blue and gold. Are you following me here? You have Riley Leonard, looking like the starter this year. CJ Carr, red shirt year, on the other end of that. And then in the middle, you got Minchie and Angeli. Something's got to give. And it's like one of those guys feels like it's falling through the crack. Well, you're going to fall through the cracks. That's one reason. I was honestly thinking, okay, if Riley Leonard's injured, or that recovery's really taking longer than they wanted, whatever that is, I was thinking if that runs into the actual ball part of spring, and that means Riley Leonard's not able to take as many snaps, and I get way more with Minchie and Angeli, maybe you would get a pure evaluation of that number 2 spot. If Riley Leonard was recovering and more snaps went to those guys, maybe that would help that evaluation. Then again, maybe the staff already knows more than we do or something. I don't know. But it's like, how do I want to say this? A lot of people don't hear a lot about Minchie, and he wasn't the backup last year the way Angeli was. And then I think people start thinking, well, if Minchie was that good, I would have already heard about him. He would have already been playing. He would have already done this and that, right? And so why am I not hearing about him if he's that good or whatever? And then other people, and another part of my brain is going, well, he was a freshman. It was his real freshman year. So then he was kind of a redshirt guy, only getting the 4 less games to not lose the year. So I am not sure. I've seen Kenny Minchie in enough competitive situations to know whether he's naturally better than Angeli or not. That's what this spring needs to figure out. $5 holler from Andrew. Good morning, buddy.
Hey, what's up, John? How was your weekend?
You know what, man? Weird. My weekends get weird when there's not football. I don't think I like it, man. Pro or I don't think I like it. You have the Senior Bowl, you have stuff going on, but it's not football. It was a little bit of kind of sad that football time's coming to an end.
Yeah, I agree. The Pro Bowl is pretty unwatchable. So I tried watching some of it, but it's rough. Terrible.
Yeah, that's rough. And I'll be honest, man, I don't really have strong feelings about Super Bowl either, Andrew. I really don't care. I know. For a guy as opinionated as I am, I really don't care. I really don't care at all. I don't.
It's funny. Dave Portnoy had a good tweet. He basically just even the NFL playoffs that are exciting or whatever. They just they do not stack up to a big college football game in terms of, in my opinion,
but
in terms
I'm
of the
so
excitement
biased,
and stuff like that.
But are we the best people to make that judgment because we're so biased to the college game and college feel? I feel that too, the cold corporate emptiness of the NFL, I feel sometimes, manufactured and corporate. It's never going to hit me like the college game and the rivalries and the tradition, and it just goes so deep. It's never going to feel the same to me as much as I try. Never.
Last point on that. I have a good friend who's actually a big Michigan fan, and so he went to both the Rose Bowl against Bama and then the national championship, and he just said that the
good for him.
Rose Bowl atmosphere, the Rose Bowl atmosphere was 100 times better than the actual national championship because I think they play. When you play it at an NFL stadium, it just doesn't have the same feel.
It sucks some of the life out of it. And you know what else I got to tell you, man? That Rose Bowl, that is a cool scene. That's a cool scene and an iconic venue people still recognize. You usually get that good California weather, the blue skies in the backdrop. It is pretty neat. So I don't know, Andrew, but what do you think about Notre Dame here? Give it to me. I know you have some opinions here. What way are you going to go?
What I wanted to call in about is I think I have an interesting take on the backup quarterback situation, so I'd like to bounce it off of you. I think, it's sort of interesting. I think at probably one point when Notre Dame decided that they were going to go to the portal, they felt that Angeli was sort of expendable. But I wonder if this year, like going into this year, understanding the dynamics between, you got Minchie on the in the depth chart, who by all accounts is throwing good. Mike Goolsby talked about that. Then you got CJ Carr, who probably is feeling, he really wants to establish himself. But I bet he with him showing up early to that bowl game practice, I think was a real, hey, I do not want to fall behind. Where Kenny Minchie's at. And then you got Deuce Knight further on down the road. I actually think that Angeli staying on the team and not transferring after the spring is a priority for Notre Dame, not only because, he does have in-game experience, but B, that if Kenny Minchie isn't considerably better than Angeli in both spring and fall practice, it's useful politically for the coaching staff to put Angeli as the number 2 and to say, hey, it's because of his game experience and he's older, than to elevate Minchie to number 2. And the reason behind that is because you got to keep, if the staff truly believes CJ Carr is the future, you got to keep them happy. And you just wonder, if they risk hurting CJ Carr's feelings and pissing him off if they put Minchie at number 2. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and here's what I don't know is that, man.
If they put Angeli at number 2, then they can kind of treat Carr and Minchie as the same, like you guys are. So I just think depth chart is, it's very political. So
that's
Minchie,
what I was going to say.
This is a huge year for Minchie.
That's what I was going to say. The next thing out of my mouth is a lot of this stuff ends up being kind of political and wanting to be smart about your positioning of things to give you either leverage or optionality or flexibility, whatever it is. But here's what I don't know is, and none of us do. I don't know. Like, wouldn't you like to go out and have a couple beers and get some truth serum out of Denbrock and Gino? I wonder how sold they are on the order in their minds of where they think these guys, one, are right now, and two, the potential. That is a factor in this. I don't know. Does Gino Guidugli feel like he knows what this is already? Or is he going, I can't wait to get into spring, see how it shapes out between these guys? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know how made up their minds are about this lineup or not. And I also don't know how much Denbrock could impact or change whatever it is, wherever they think they're at. Johnny, you can't handle the truth. Tell me the truth I can't handle. I'm trying to figure this out and be open to all angles. What do you mean? I'm trying to talk through it. I'm open to any of this. I just don't know the realities.
I think the person you want, which it would be the hardest to do, but the person you want the true serum to go out with is Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman, he went out and got an awesome offensive coordinator, Denbrock, and he got Gino to be the quarterback's coach. And we can talk about how good he is as quarterback's coach. But in addition to Denbrock being a good offensive coordinator, he's a loyal soldier. These two have, worked together in the past. He wants to be at Notre Dame. And so he's going to take his cues from Marcus Freeman, the head coach. I think Marcus Freeman, he'll probably try to have some deniability and be away from it, but he's the ultimate decision maker. So it's all about who does Freeman favor. I mean, Freeman has been on Carr for 3 years, basically. That's been his prized guy, and then Minchie was sort of a throw-in at the, throw-in when we didn't have a quarterback. And so, and Minchie can have all the physical tools, but I do think politics and relationships matter. And it's all about where Marcus Freeman's headspace is, because Deuce and DJ were so high on Freeman's priority list. Yeah, I don't know where Minchie fits into all that. And so we've all played. Like, I played for a very competitive high school team, and the quarterback situation there was political. Like, you cannot deny in football, some of these position battles sometimes come down to politics. Like, who does the coach personally like more than the other, especially if you can't see huge discernible differences in how these guys play in practice.
You're right. I mean?
So
that makes sense. And here's where I fall on it ultimately. They got to get it right. I don't care the process. I don't care what they have to figure out to do, how they want to do. I don't know. But all I know is they got to figure it out and get it right. And they got to make sure you're hitching the wagon to the right guys, and you don't hitch your wagon to the wrong guy, and then the right guy leaves, and then you're holding an empty bag. Like, you got to figure all this out. But Andrew, I'm telling you.
Exactly.
But it's a really good sign to me that we feel like there's multiple of these guys that could have some higher end potential and help Notre Dame. That alone is a good problem to have and a new problem to have around here. I'm open to that problem.
Exactly. And then, hey, I'll even throw in another situation is, unlike any other time at Notre Dame where it was really the coaching staff controlled all these decisions. I'm not saying that Marcus Freeman would ever allow a booster or NIL to ever determine, decisions. Like, I don't think it would ever go that far, but never before in Notre Dame history have boosters and people who donate to the NIL fund and stuff like that have more access to the players. And so I just throw that out there because, like, schools like Texas, Alabama before Nick Saban got there, their big issue was that they let the boosters run wild and really have input on what goes on. And so you just wonder, like, cause like I remember when they fired Chancey Stuckey, Brady Quinn, put out a tweet that was pretty like defending of Chancey Stuckey. And then when stuff like that happens, you got to wonder, he's the head of the collective. Is he telling Freeman he doesn't like stuff, and does he have input and stuff? So I just put it out there because there could be a major booster who's saying, I'm setting aside $1 million for CJ Carr to be the starting quarterback. And that's for CJ Carr only. So stuff like that can play a factor.
Yep. So it is interesting, and it is complicated, and it's getting more complicated as there's more and more moving factors mixed into all this college football stuff. All I know is, man, it's going to be a really exciting spring. There's a lot to look at, a lot of good young talent. There's legitimate competitions at a lot of spots. This should be a really productive and informative spring session. Andrew, thanks a lot on a Monday morning. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. Take care. All right. We went an hour and a half. That's going to be it for the day, folks. I got some other things I got to tend to. And then I'm pretty sure me and Goolsby are going to interview Mike Singer later tonight. Talk some recruiting, talk about some more stuff on that. I'm not sure when that's going to air, if it's going to be a Patreon only, or if we'll put it on the YouTube too as a promo. I don't know, but that's always fun when you could get with Singer and it's the two Mikes and me. That should be interesting. Thank you for the calls. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for all of it, you guys. Again, there is none of this without you guys. And I'm really excited about the blue and gold. That's going to be a hell of a party. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.